We're aware. Don't worry. We're waiting for us to get our tea ready.
It's only 7:20
Now
Yeah,
it's, well, now it's
yeah.
7:30. Good. We're good. Now we're good.
Now we're good?
Father Patrick has his tea.
Okay, well,
The promise was that once you had your tea, we would turn the mic on.
Ah,
Hey, we're live.
We're live.
hey.
Here.
We're
Troop
live.
519
just
says
adjust
hello.
this slightly.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Troop 519.
I keep forgetting to join. I keep forgetting to join in on their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we are.
All together as we sing our
Song.
song joyfully.
Joyfully.
Last time we just did one of these live things from the front porch. We like a bunch of people just watched.
Because
We got on topics of food.
just thrilling.
Yeah.
So what'd you do today, Father Patrick? What are you going to do tomorrow might be the better question to start things with.
Well, tomorrow's my day off, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
What do you do on your day off? What's a typical Sabbath for Father Patrick Day?
Normally sleep in. Mass at 9. Go for a long run. Go to Chick-fil-A.
That's a day off activity?
Yes.
Because it
You
probably
know
does
what would
take a
help
while.
you running, actually?
And then I go
Less
to my parents'
Chick-fil-A.
house. And I sit out and I sit on the porch and talk to them.
You know,
Stream?
No, they're just outside.
you know what would be good, though, for your hair?
What?
Haircut.
A haircut.
Yeah.
You think?
You would run so much
I know.
faster.
Shh.
And make us so much happier.
I think you should cut the hair. You should get a buzz cut like Father Andrews.
You like a bald cat would help me out actually for running.
All right, we have
How
one,
many masks?
Yeah, one question so far. How many masks do you want? All the masks.
I want all the masks.
We want enough masks so that we don't have to send anybody home that should look for masks.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So the whole point of having a stockpile of masks is that the bishop is asking that everyone who comes to public masses has a mask on.
So first of all, is if you have a mask,
Bring it.
come wearing that mask. Actually, if you don't have a mask, you can't come. So a mask could be, the mask that you typically see, or a bandana, right? So that would work too. So if you have one, bring it. But we also would like to make some available and put them in some Ziploc bags for a few days ahead of time, so that if people come and I don't have a mask, here you go. It's like going to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
I forgot to wear a jacket. Here you go, sir. Here's your pew.
Here's your mask and here's your pew. Pray hard.
Please be seated, being Roman, party of three. Sausage King of Chicago.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for those of you.
Have you seen that movie?
I have seen. Yeah.
Yes. It's a great film.
Maybe we could ask the people out there, the fine folks, what they think of the movie The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Read the comments after the masses.
Rosary and communion. Yes, we do.
Yes.
Actually, Father Patrick loves reading the comments after
I
masses.
love reading the comments. We read a lot of pieces given.
I was a little, I was scared that I upset people because when, what was it? It was Monday when Father Andrew put yo and Brian.
Why does everything always come back to me?
Because you were the one who said, "But hey, quiet down. We're trying to pray." And so I did. And then no one commented for the entire rosary.
They were all afraid.
I was scared that people thought I was mean.
Absolutely, they probably thought that.
Yeah.
Good job, Brian.
Sorry, everyone.
It wasn't directed at anybody except the pastor.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was trying to make sure it was direct. It was a direct reply to you.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well.
When can you come to this?
So Bishop announced today via a letter to the lay faithful of the diocese that masses will resume the weekend of May 22nd, 23rd.
23rd, yep.
So we have to work this out. I don't know exactly how we're going to do it. If we're going to add additional masses to our normal 4:38, 10:30 schedule, or actually what the most likely scenario is that we'll have Mass in the main church, begin at its normal times, and then if there's overflow, we're going to set up Mass in the gym. That would begin like 10 minutes afterwards. So if you come to the church and you see signs that say we're full, go to the gym. That's probably what we're going to do. That was our plan the first week when all this started. We didn't need the thing. No secrets. Share it with the group.
Well, the saddest part about that is that both Brian and I will be gone that weekend.
How is this place going to survive?
Why is that sad?
Well, because after all this time, it would be nice to be able to see people, but
Why don't
we'll be
you
gone already.
Why don't you start your summer assignment after that first weekend?
Great point.
Because I got news for you.
Aren't you still in school?
I think the summer is going to last a little longer than you are typically used to.
You think?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll have public
see.
masses on the 22nd and 23rd. And right now, like I said, we'll plan on those being at our normal times, 4:30 on Saturday, 8 o'clock and 10:30 on Sunday.
Ron and Noel said, I assume in response to how will this place stay together, said the staff will have to come back.
Yeah. Moses died leaning on his staff, and so will I.
Outside the promised land.
Yep.
Yeah, staring at the promised land.
Oh, man. Brian and I went on a bike ride today, and my route ended up being 20 miles. How long was yours?
22, 23.
Really? Is
I
it?
don't know. I'd have to look.
I also went on a bike ride. It was a mile, or it was less than a mile. It was a half mile.
Mark had a little blowout.
The tire.
It happens sometimes.
Apparently, when you have your bike in storage for 2 years and then you get it out,
22 miles.
the tires aren't great.
20. Right. I feel better about myself now.
I went for a 4-mile run.
Where are your summer assignments, Brother Mark?
I will be at Most Precious Blood over on the opposite side of town.
With Father Drew Curry, who was our guest last week.
The opposite side of town?
I will be at
it's the
Little
north side.
Flower in
That's
South Bend with Father Terry Coonan, close to Notre Dame.
And we'll be getting Jake Snyder.
Who, by
He's
the way,
all right.
Contrary to rumors.
Yeah, he's not a second theologian. He's a first. I've done this twice now with both Vince and Jake. Jake is a first-year theologian, hopefully 3 years away from ordination to the priesthood as opposed to the 2.
I just assumed that you just took whichever introduction you used for us and just switched it.
A copy paste.
Yeah.
I think he's ready, though.
The question is, after the weekend of the 22nd and 23rd, will daily masses resume?
Yes, yeah, and those will be in the main church as well, so as to allow as many people as possible to come, but then also to allow people to social distance.
Okay, let's see.
Father Patrick, where's your bandana? And what's your
Why?
favorite color?
Who has that question?
Yeah, where's your handkerchief? Well, Nikki Massey asked it for Anna.
Oh. Well, my bandana is currently over in my office right now.
Anna, what color bandana should Father Patrick wear next?
Ooh.
My favorite color, we'll wait for what Anna says.
What is your favorite color?
I like red. Black, white, and red. So I feel like I'm a member of White Stripes.
You know what Frank Sinatra's favorite color was? Orange.
Why? And why do you know that?
Should I go get it?
I just thought it was odd because I've never heard of another human being who had orange as their favorite color.
I like orange.
It's like it's a very
It's the sun.
bright color.
In general, do you think it's more important for families with kids to be in attendance or mid-50-ish folks?
Somebody actually asked that?
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion on it.
I think it's more for people that are healthy and are able to go out to be there.
Yeah. And maintain social distancing.
Anna said blue.
Do you have a blue one?
I do. Should I go get it?
No.
Will you still live stream daily in Sunday Mass?
So
Funny story.
exciting news today. Very exciting news. We received today a grant from the Lilly Foundation that is going to give us the ability to put permanent cameras in the church and the chapel so that we can live stream masses. Now, the other thing we need to work out is licensing for music, which costs money. So we got to work on that too. That's an annual fee of something. My expectation is that we will live stream one daily mass, and then we'll probably also live stream the Sunday 10:30 mass in the future, but we'll see.
Yeah. Supportive. Folks are supportive.
Supportive of the grant.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also got some other grant money today for some amazing projects.
It was a great day in the rectory.
It was.
Rides, grants.
So many of you have heard me mention multiple times before Bishop Robert Barron, who has a plethora of fantastic videos available, and we have now a parish annual subscription to what is called Word on Fire Engage, which means everyone in our parish will be able to watch all of his materials all year long, absolutely free.
I'm glad I'm a parishioner here.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
And you can also print out the study guide, so it'll be fantastic for individual viewing at your leisure, and then also like small groups. If you have a group of friends, parishioners, and you want to do a study on, well, he just came out today with a series on the sacraments, the seven sacraments. Bishop Robert Barron is just one of the finest teachers of the Catholic faith in the United States today. So that'll be coming out shortly. We just got that approval for that grant today, and then we contacted Word on Fire. They're going to contact us to talk about how to make it work with Flocknote, because they have a partnership with Flocknote. We also received a grant to produce a workbook for our parish. Do you remember, this was several weeks ago, I showed this workbook that the Archdiocese of Detroit put out called 52 Sundays. And it's a workbook that has the readings for every Sunday gospel throughout the year, plus family recipes, family fun activities, discussion questions. The idea is, what is this? Why is this here?
Whoa, wait a second. It's a holy saying.
I know. So the idea is to reclaim Sunday as a day for worship and families spending time together at home, especially sharing meals together. Well, we received a grant that's going to make it possible for us to produce our own parish version of that workbook and give it out free to every single family in the parish, and that's going to be called Mass Every Sunday, and that'll be the project that you guys have to complete before you leave in 2 weeks.
I thought my project was getting all the live stream equipment
We'll
installed.
get this.
I'm going to make reparation to St. Patrick.
For all your sins against him.
We'll give that project to
Yeah,
Jake
Jake
Schneider.
needs something to do.
you guys need somebody.
The question is, next question is, we have formed and word on fire.
Yeah.
Are we keeping both?
Yes. Yeah.
And then, a year from now, we might evaluate if we want to, keep formed, that type of thing.
Fran Klinger. Now I'm messing up because I was going to do the play on words.
Fran Flinger?
Yeah, Fran Flinger asks, when can 65 and older attend Mass
Now,
again?
I'm sure she's asking for a friend because there's no way she's over that age.
No. She's 39. Well, it's the recommendation of the state, right? There's not a prohibition, as it were. But truthfully, for the sake of safety and health, I encourage, our parishioners who are 65 and older, to continue. Do you know? Think about that. Is there a prohibition per se?
No,
It's a recommendation.
It's a strong recommendation because of the health risk it poses.
Yeah.
But I think, the bishop has made it very clear that, we're to follow whatever government authorities are saying as best we can. But everyone is bound by their conscience and their own personal decisions about their health.
John Hickey.
Okay. That's a long
For Father Patrick.
It's always scary.
Your homily on Sunday made me think of something that I've never heard before. I've heard that a shepherd would sometimes break the legs of a sheep. If it would keep wandering away and leading others astray from the herd. Have you heard of this? Is there any Christian parallels that could be drawn from this, such as excommunication being a merciful act to show the faithful their errors, like the sheep that kept wandering off?
So I've heard of it, but I've only heard of it in people saying that it does not exist. Shepherds don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the idea is still valid. That sometimes God gives God allows suffering in our life, in order to slow us down, in order for us to be closer to Him.
Yeah, I would say the other thing though, we think about that story of the good shepherd, and so often we see like the shepherd with the sheep around his shoulder. You're like, oh, that's a really sweet picture. Can you actually imagine having a real sheep around your shoulder?
Ugh.
That thing it'd be crazy. I mean, that thing would be kicking and screaming. And I think that's the Lord saying, you know what? You can come to me kicking and screaming. I can handle it.
Yeah. You kick and scream all the time.
Yeah, it is.
How many more days I got here?
Like 2 weeks. Okay. Jessica Marlin says, Happy May. Could you share about your own personal devotions to Mary?
Saying the rosary is not something I had the habit of doing every day until it was like November, December. So now saying a daily rosary. I conclude every holy hour asking for her help. Little Hail Mary at the end.
Your favorite saint, Brian?
Yeah, the Blessed Virgin. She's my favorite saint. I'll take the best.
What's the word most commonly used to describe Brian? Ridiculous.
Could we define what that means?
No.
Off camera later.
Yeah.
Oh, man. For me, my devotion to the rosary is increased very slowly. At first, it was kind of forced on me when I entered seminary, and so my reaction to it was a little bit negative. And then after going through that, getting back into kind of freely engaging the rosary, it's been really great. I think that seeing, especially for a celibate person, celibacy does not mean that you don't engage in relationships with people of the opposite sex. Like it excludes certain relationships, but not just like relationships in general. And I think it's really important for celibates in particular to have like a primary relationship with like Mary for priests, and then for sisters, Jesus, obviously. Kind of that like complementarity of masculinity and femininity. So for me, like praying with Mary, asking for protection, kind of fills that role, sort of space as like mother and just someone to go to.
Yeah, my prayer life started praying a decade of the Rosary a day. Our Lady of Fatima, I remember learning about her when I was a young kid, and I thought that was really cool. But it was really funny because in that moment, first time I learned about Fatima and Our Lady appearing to the 3 shepherd kids, I thought, it's so funny. I thought, how would I react if Mary appeared to me? And then, of course, what Mary always does is points us to Jesus. And then I had the realization, as incredible as it would be to have a vision or apparition of Mary, how much more incredible is it that Jesus gives himself to us physically each and every time Mass is celebrated in the Eucharist. And so that really kind of spurred me on to like the power of Jesus and his presence with us. So that's kind of where it started for me.
I think it's important to know that today is just Marlon's birthday. So everyone in the comment section, please wish her happy birthday.
Wow. There it is.
John Hickey.
John Hickey with a great question.
Could you talk a little about the idea of ex operato? Is that when the fat lady sings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Opera.
At the end of the
And
opera.
how sacraments get their efficacy. Yeah, so who's the main celebrant of every sacrament?
Jesus, the high priest.
There you go.
Oh man, I almost said something that would have made me sound stupid. And then I'm like, no, you're wrong, because couples are the ministers of marriage.
Jesus, the high priest.
Yeah.
Still the primary minister of every sacrament.
Yeah, so ex operato means by the work worked. So the thing done itself. So if you have the proper things for a sacrament and you do them correctly with the right intention, they're effective. They are what they symbolize.
So by way of background as to like what the meaning of this question is, so back during
Augustine,
Yeah,
the Donatists.
Donatists.
Those pesky Donatists.
Don't get me started.
So during persecutions in the church, there were priests who denied their faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the question
The
was,
traitors.
yeah,
Just as a fun note, because part of the denial into those persecutions is that you would hand over the sacred scriptures. And so they became known as traitors because traditor is a handing over, which is also where we get tradition. That's just a fun fact.
So they denied their faith under pain of persecution, but then they repented and they came back to the faith. But the question was, should they be readmitted and be allowed to administer the sacraments, and would the sacraments still be valid because of their, sin? And Augustine pointed out, no, the efficacy or the manner in which the sacrament confers grace is not dependent upon the holiness of the priest. It's by virtue of the grace of the sacrament itself. That the sacrament, just being done in its action properly, confers grace, and we receive that grace.
And that's to protect the transmission of grace.
Right.
So that regardless of what priest it is, you can still receive the sacramental grace of the Eucharist, of confession, of all the sacraments.
And thank goodness it doesn't depend on the holiness of the priest.
That's
Right.
nice.
St. John the Baptist would be in a whole lot of trouble.
I don't know. We got Father Patrick here.
Still trouble.
The second part of the question is how they get their efficacy. So efficacy meaning that it actually does what it says, what it claims to do. That's actually connected to Jesus' role as the high priest. Because Jesus is made the high priest, the book of Hebrews tells us, off the oath that was sworn by God. So it's a promise. And so in the same way, Jesus promises grace through the sacraments. So their efficacy relies on the promise of Christ, who is made authoritative to do that from the promise of God. Modeled through the priesthood of Melchizedek, but then just relying on those words. So like the classic example is, how do we know that the bread and wine become the body and blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus? Because he said they do. And so like by the mode in which he said to do that, we know, relying on the promise that Jesus made. Because I always love Thomas Aquinas' great hymn on the Eucharist. The famous line is basically, truth himself speaks truly or nothing is true. And Jesus is truth himself. So what he's promised.
Yeah, we got a question here from Artist Smith. Pray the rosary daily? I pray the rosary, not daily, but it has helped me grow in my devotion to Mary. Can you suggest more that I can do?
I would say look into making a total consecration to Mary.
I was just thinking the same thing.
There's a number of different books you can use to do this. So a total consecration to Mary is basically a 33-day exercise, 33 representing the number of
kind of
years.
a 33-day devotional.
Yeah. 33 days, one for every year of Christ's life on this earth. But like Brian said, a devotional, it's usually consisting of prayers and reflections about Mary and how she leads us closer to her son, Jesus. The first author of such a devotion was St. Louis de Montfort. His text is excellent and very good. Some might find it a little archaic, difficult to read, so there are some modern versions of the total consecration. Father Michael Gately wrote one, 33 Days to Morning Glory, which the diocese as a whole, there was an opportunity to do that. Another one I particularly like and recommend is a book called Totus Tuus.
I like that one.
I forget who wrote that.
Something Father Brian McMaster?
Yes. He's a vocation director.
Yeah.
Is that the gray covered one?
It's a blue covered. It has John Paul II and Mary and Grace.
Because there's like a, I can't remember what it's called. It's like the middle road between 33 days and
there's a gray covered one.
Montfort's.
Yeah.
So I would say look into that. Just Google total consecration to Jesus through Mary, or consecration to Mary. It'll bring up the same type of stuff. That'd be one of the things I would look at.
Yeah.
Father
Andrew. The other thing, maybe if you find an image of Our Lady that you really find beautiful, just put that in a prominent place where you'll see it regularly, just to remind you that Our Lady's there in your home. She was a mother and had to do all kinds of motherly things that so many mothers do and oftentimes aren't thanked enough for. So
I think also just starting with like asking her to help you grow in devotion.
Yeah,
is a good place to start with any of the saints, really. Father Andrew, are you still beekeeping?
No, I haven't done it in a couple of years because the first year we did, and the bees just died. The second year we had bees, they just left one day. And then
bought a vacation home in Florida, and they were
just
gone.
like, we are tired of your bitterness and sarcasm. We're out of here. And then the last couple of years, we just haven't gotten bees. I was told by a beekeeper at Catholic Cemetery, actually, that one of the problems might be is we're getting our bees from Florida or Georgia. And then when you get them shipped up here, they actually ship them in the mail. They're in a cage, in a box that goes in the mail. So like some UPS man or mailman is carrying around a box of like 500 bees, and so they may not adjust to the climate up here, but who knows if that's actually the case. But yeah, we need to get going on it again, try it again. Mr. Berghoff was our Eagle Scout a couple years ago who made the bee hive. I've got a bee suit still in my trunk. Have you ever seen my bee suit?
I think I have.
I'm not going to go put it.
That's good for nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of which, what do you think? I think we could rename the school mascot to the Swarm.
Yeah.
Would that be awesome?
I'm trying to keep it
He's trying to keep it alive.
You really want it to happen, don't you?
I think it'd be awesome.
Okay.
The St. John Swarm.
So that way, if you don't like the idea, blame him. But if you do like the idea, I came up with it. Why the swarm? Because of John the Baptist ate locusts and wild honey. Bees, locusts.
Yep.
St. John Swarm.
And the uniform.
Every kid would want to be the swarm.
And the uniforms will be made out of camel hair and leather.
That's where you lose people.
Oh.
The gym could be called the Hive.
The Hive.
Honeycomb from the floor.
And then when we introduce those, fourth grade basketball players, and they're coming out, dribbling around.
Yeah, you could paint the walls as like honeycomb all throughout the whole season.
That would be awesome!
It would raise awareness because we need more bees. And especially,
Okay.
I heard about
I'm telling you.
these killer hornets.
I'm telling you, I'm not dissing on the Eagles, okay? I'm not dissing on the Eagles, but I'm telling you right now that if we changed it to the Swarm and then painted our gym a honeycomb pattern, we would be instantly known as having the coolest mascot and gym in the diocese, which is 99% the reason for doing something.
So, yeah, let us know what you think about the Swarm.
Yeah. No one's even commented on the swarm yet.
Yeah, they don't.
I'll give them 10 seconds.
Maybe they're just ignoring it, hoping it'll go away.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That works most times.
So, Fran Klinger, we got her age wrong. She is 35.
Oh, sorry, Brandon.
Did she write that?
Yes.
But she's writing it through her granddaughter's YouTube account.
Oh, good. So, yeah.
Yes.
Father Patrick, how did your retreat go?
It went well. I was up at a lake house for about a week Friday by myself, and it was very calming.
Was there a theme to your retreat?
The Bible? I don't know.
Did you read?
What were you
anything in
reading?
particular?
I was reading the letter of St. Peter.
Yeah.
Which
that
one?
was the first one. Because that was our second reading for our gospel for the Sunday.
Mitchell Steffen. Great idea, gents. Cheers to you. Teresa Dierich, love the Swarm. Much better than the Eagles. There's already a lot of Eagles.
There are a lot of
Yeah, trying to be unique.
The Swarm.
It would require like an overwhelming mandate by the people of
Well,
the St. John.
You
Baptist.
people out there, this is
Yeah.
in your hands now.
I think
That's
you
what
could,
Leo Pursley said back in '54.
Yeah.
Well, let's
agree.
put it this way. I just want to make it clear that changing the mascot at this school is not like
a top priority.
a top priority or agenda item for Father Andrew Baczynski, okay?
Oh man! But when all the people come and they're all wearing honeycomb masks, that's the vote.
That's to be the sign. Or the black and yellow stripes. And black and yellow are colors.
Oh.
Oh man!
We're also getting a recommendation to behave.
Yeah, we should.
I get that now.
Yeah.
I read that. I was
good.
very confused.
good.
Now I
Supposed
get
to-
it.
You thought they misspelled beehive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess I'm just.
Yeah, so
naturally-
far I'm seeing a lot of positives on the Swarm.
You've seen 5 positives on this.
They're all St. Vincent's people.
Well, I mean, you got like the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech,
Yeah.
the sizzling swarm of the 07.
The University of California, Santa Barbara banana slugs.
What?
Yes, their
What is
mascot
that?
is the banana slug.
Is that some sort of invasive insect in a
It's
banana?
a yellow maggot.
The banana slug.
University of
Right.
Lafayette, Louisiana is the Raging Cajuns.
Yeah.
I always loved Rose Holman because it's the Fighting Engineers, and it's an elephant.
The banana slugs were the name of my first fantasy football team.
There's also the Long Beach State Dirtbags.
Really? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
What else?
We have.
Will you
Does
explain
anyone
more
know?
on the story of Fatima?
Yeah, does anyone know more about?
I am shamefully ignorant of much of the Fatima story, so maybe we should work on that, and Father Patrick can give a presentation next week.
Okay.
So, Teresa Deering found the bee emoji. I'm going to just display this.
Yeah, Fatima.
There's probably a grasshopper too.
Fatima happened in 1917. Our Lady appeared. First one was in May 13th, I believe. And then it ran through October of that year. Several things happened. The children received their first Holy Communion miraculously. There's the much talked about 3 secrets. But her overall message was to pray the rosary daily and to receive Holy Communion frequently and to do penance for your sins. So very much what the church has taught. Church has approved it. The feast day is actually coming up May 13th.
May 13th.
The three children, 2 of which were beatified in 2017.
2 of them died because of the Spanish flu.
Yeah. Are they? No, they were canonized.
And they died.
Yeah,
so.
they were canonized. So Saint Jacinta and Saint Francisco,
I didn't mean to put
the shepherd boys. And then the third one, Sister Lucia, she lived to be a nun. She lived much longer than the little kids who are now saints. And I don't know what year she died.
Oh, look, there's a diocesan website for Fatima.
There you go.
Here it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Seth.
But yeah, definitely penance and praying the rosary daily. Those are kind of the big 2
When we go on
takeaways.
the World Youth Day in Lisbon, Portugal,
Which has been delayed a year.
yeah, there's going to be a trip to Fatima as part of it.
And
That's going to be nuts.
the really big miracle, if you will, is the miracle of the sun.
Yeah.
So the sun danced in the sky. There had been tons of rain the day leading up to it, and the sun came out, danced in the sky, and everybody was totally dry. 50,000 people saw it. Even atheistic reporters were, dumbfounded. So, pretty cool stuff.
Isn't the rectory going to be quiet after Mark and Brian leave? Yes.
I think what she meant to ask is, isn't the rectory going to be not very fun after Brian and Mark leave?
That's not at all.
I think that was implied in the question.
Jake Schneider's going to make up for them. Don't worry.
Yeah, Jake's good. Jake's good. He's a good man.
You know what? There is something to be said about the multiple people dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you get 3 or 4 or more people in a room, it just
Yeah.
it's good. That being said, we've talked about this before, and I know you guys have really talked about it as seminarians, but this whole experience of being quarantined and 4 of us living in the house has really affirmed, I don't know if it's solidified in my mind, like this absolute desire to necessarily go in this direction, but it's definitely affirmed the notion in my mind anyway, that at least for me as a priest, it's not for every priest necessarily, but to live in small communities of 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever the case may be, I think is a good idea. I think it's healthy. Currently canon law says, except for grave reason, the pastor has to live in the parish. But
the first reason for not living in the parish
Is for common life.
is to live with other priests.
And there are groups of priests, diocesan priests, that are doing that with the proper guidance and things like that. So you guys can move in whenever you want.
The mascot for the swarm could be Father Andrew in his bee suit.
No, that's a sight we don't see.
Okay. Question is, last week during your Tuesday evening broadcast, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Meatloaf. You talked about quite a few books that would be good reads for faith and marriage. Can you tell us your top 5 must-reads or favorites?
Of just books in
I
general?
think just books in general.
Or books about marriage.
In general.
It seems to be in general.
Why don't we just go around the room and start with one,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll continue.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Till We Have Faces.
By
C.S. Lewis.
Hey, that's the core easy.
Story of a Soul by Saint Therese of Lisieux.
Lord of the Rings, Tolkien.
A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller, Jr.
Oh, man. The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis.
He Leadeth Me by Walter Chiswick.
The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis.
The Power and the Glory by Graham Greene.
Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton.
Diary of a Country Priest by George Bernanos.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis.
The Bible.
By God. That's
The
72.
Bible, a love story.
That's 72 books. He went over the limit.
What's that? Five? That's three or
That's
four?
three.
Oh man, I just got this book and I'm really excited about it. Kristen Lavensdatter. I'm very pumped to read it. It's been recommended to me so many times, and so I'm finally getting to it. And it was like Sigrid Undset. She wrote the book, converted to Catholicism, and won the Nobel Prize for it.
Jesus of Nazareth by Pope Benedict XVI. It's a great book. Well, it's 3 books, but great trilogy.
I really liked, I forget the name of the author. Remind me. This Tremendous Lover.
I know the book.
Yeah. It's just a book about relationship with God, Christ in particular.
The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. About marriage.
Oh man. What is that? Oh, well, I don't know what I want to use my 5th one on.
Are we at 4?
Yeah, you're at 4.
This will be number 5. You have one?
Fulton Sheen, The Priest is Not His Own.
In Russia with God, by Walter Chiswick.
Cheers.
I'll go with C.S. Lewis is the Space Trilogy. Big fan. It's one. You buy it as one.
So basically what you've heard so far is anything by C.S. Lewis. Yeah.
I know if I go look at my bookshelf and I go, oh yeah, of course, I should have said that.
Yeah, that's. If I had my bookcase in front of me, I could.
I'm looking at it in my mind's eye right now.
Yeah.
A lot of books.
Yeah.
There's
there's divisions in my head about like fiction books, nonfiction books, theology, philosophy. Like it's hard to think of all of them.
A lot of times when I buy books, it's based on author more than the work itself. So
basically, anytime I see a book by Joseph Pieper or Dietrich von Hildebrand, I buy it.
Yeah, I'm that way with Pope Benedict, Joseph Ratzinger, Brant Petrie. He's kind of an up-and-coming scripture scholar. Big fan of him. We gave away one of his books here recently.
For Christmas.
Mary. Jesus, Mary and the Jewish roots of
Mary.
Yeah, the Jewish roots of Mary. Yeah. What's that?
Let's see.
Someone at that table may or may not be having a birthday next week.
Who's that?
Who wrote it?
I don't know.
It's not me.
Must be.
It's you, Brian?
It's not me. My birthday's in September.
What's next?
It's not me.
Well,
Interesting.
does the Holy Spirit have a birthday?
No, he's unbegotten. Well, he's not even unbegotten. He's spirated.
Yeah. He doesn't have a birthday. He has a perpetual and eternal spiration.
Yeah.
What is aspiration?
It's a good question.
No one knows.
No one knows. It's
a word
like
that was
a
applied
breath.
to the relationship.
breath shared and breath given.
Yeah. So we know that the relationship, and then you just apply
Wait
the
a
word.
minute. Colette Stegmeyer just said, making chocolate chip cookies. Should I drop some off at the rectory tonight? Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Thank you, Colette.
Oh,
What are you
man.
shaking your head about?
You
You don't have to eat them.
Oh man.
5 Love Languages is an excellent book and theory and everything. I believe it entirely. What's your love language? Mine too.
Mine 3.
Mine is people laughing at my jokes.
Maybe if we
That's
think
not
about,
one.
if we think about it, we'll just. If I'm sitting around one night, we'll just type out a list of some books that we think of.
Will McDonald, second greatest story ever told. Yeah, I read that a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
It's John Paul II, Poland, Divine Mercy, Fatima, kind of all weave together. It is pretty incredible.
We have. I don't think any of us have still watched any of The Chosen.
I watched
you
one
did?
episode.
Okay.
And?
What did you think?
I thought it was good. Yeah, it was very good. The first one was on Mary Magdalene. And it has her, of course, the 7 demons, and then Christ comes in and drives those out. So pretty cool. I also had meatloaf. My mother made me meatloaf recently on Sunday. So we finally got our meatloaf fix.
And then he ate it for breakfast this morning. Or
Fried
was
meatloaf,
Was that
baby.
this morning or yesterday?
I love
they all are
having dinner
the same
foods
thing.
for breakfast. You know how many people like breakfast food throughout the day? I'm the opposite. I want stew for breakfast, meatloaf for breakfast. I had brisket for breakfast yesterday. Delish.
It also occurred to somebody that you would be Father Buzinski.
It's happening.
This is ridiculous. Question is, I missed it. Will there be any changes at Mass due to the restrictions, like how communion is distributed?
Yeah, so we'll have to, just like when you're going to the grocery store and you have to wait 6 feet apart when you're checking out, you have to do that. People have to wear masks when they come to Mass, but you can remove them, of course, when receiving communion. We won't be handing out bulletins for a while. We won't be doing holy water for a while, although we could do a sprinkling rite. I think maybe we should do a sprinkling rite. And you know how I love doing sprinkling.
You know,
rites.
Father, you can do a
Especially
sprinkling,
you, Chad Irick. What?
You can do a sprinkling right every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Time to yell meatloaf outside.
Gosh, you want the
He
meatloaf?
lives far away. He heard that too.
Oh, he did?
No, he
Oh,
didn't.
I was gonna say.
The ushers will be using the baskets on the long poles, that type of thing.
There'll be 3 people per pew or 1 family per pew.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be like every other pew.
Communion will be slow.
Really slow.
Gonna have to have patience.
Just under 1
Yeah.
time.
Posts only, no precious blood.
Yeah, everybody will have to hand sanitize.
Oh, singing. It's going to be the Sarah Hill show for a while. Because this
Which
is
isn't half
interesting. Yeah. I mean, if you have to listen to anybody sing, it may as well be her. Because the science shows that congregational singing, when people sing, it can aerosol like the little droplets, like when someone coughs, as opposed to ordinary talking. So mass responses are going to be fine. Our Father, and with your spirit, no problem. But we're probably not going to do congregational singing for a while.
Yeah.
La-di-da.
Did we do anything for Star Wars Day?
No,
No, it just kind of flew by.
nothing Star Wars related.
We didn't even get Brian to watch a Star Wars movie.
I treat May the 4th kind of like the World Day of Prayer for Vocations. I live an entire Star Wars culture. I'm not interested in this token day for celebration. All Star Wars, all the time.
except
all
for the prequels.
vocations, all the time. Yeah, those aren't real
Star
movies.
Will communion be allowed on the tongue, or only in the hand?
It is the right of the people to receive on the tongue if they wish. I strongly encourage people to receive in the hand because it's just far less likely of transmitting, hands touching saliva. But if someone were to present themselves to receive on the tongue, we're not going to deny that. But we have to be really, really careful. So I would just say if you're willing to receive in the hand, consider that.
About how many people do you think can fit in the church?
About half.
About half? Oh, so just as many people that work in the Vatican.
Yeah. In our church, I mapped it out. If it were all individuals, there's something like 28 pews available because we have to skip every other pew. So there's 28 total pews available times 3 is 8. Do math. 78, something like that. But if you get a household, a family in a pew, they can all be together. And maybe it could be one family on one end, another family on another end with 6 feet in between. You could probably get 8 people in a pew like that. So I think realistically, we're going to have 100, 200 people in the church at each mass. So,
have you seen Rogue One?
Aiden Newberg once.
Yes, I have. It was enjoyable.
Only Brian hasn't.
Sarah Palin once wrote a book called Going Rogue.
What'd you say your love language was?
People laughing at my jokes. And inside you are dying hysterically because you thought that was really funny. The lip is quivering under that mustache.
It seems someone asked a question, but it seems that they missed the good news from the beginning, which is that we're getting permanent live stream capabilities.
Yeah. So we are going to continue to live stream masses. We have to work that all out by way of getting the equipment hooked up and then also licensing so that we're able to do music online as well.
We have one pushback on the B.
No, that's 2 people. That is 2 names that say no.
Well, let it be known we didn't propose the B's. We proposed the Sworn.
Let it be known.
Let it be known.
John's
Sworn.
What's the reason behind being against the swarm or the bees?
What's the reasoning?
It's John the Baptist. Why are they opposed?
Yeah.
It's America.
That's a good question. I mean,
We're open to opinions.
because you can't get everyone to agree on one thing.
On the Swarm?
Majority rules mean democracy.
We can't get everyone to agree that the Earth is round.
Could you imagine a first grader trying to say Swarm? Swarm.
Oh, that would be cute.
I'm again like a swan. Yes, you are. Kids running around the hall like,
Oh my word.
and I will get more angry letters about that than anything. That'll be quite a relief.
Oh man.
I don't know. Have you ever seen a swarm attack an eagle? I don't know.
Especially now that we have those murder hornets.
Woo.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should capitalize
We got you
on
there.
fear.
Oh man. I don't know. I was watching Ant-Man and the Wasp recently, and there was those birds that were just picking off those little ants.
Were they?
Folks, Mark is officially crying here. We got tears coming from the eyes on Mark here.
That's a daily occurrence. It's not hard to make me laugh so hard to cry. At least
that's great stuff.
I've never passed out while laughing.
That'd be embarrassing.
No, it's joy. It's
And you this little arm thing?
What they were referring to is that I've been known to pass out laughing sometimes. That's my form gesture. Huh? Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, it's 8:25.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Last call.
Yeah.
You gotta get these questions in
because we have important work to do next.
Yeah, we clearly need to get off the air before we just start laughing so hard we can't talk. Let's see.
Oh, I can't wait to see Christina cook. Stop it!
We almost had him one time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Started yelling,
during
"Stop."
Liturgy of the Hours.
Oh no, I was talking. It was like a couple years ago during a seminarian gathering. We had you laughing. We were yelling "stop!" So then we started saying all the funny things we could.
Yeah. Once people see me going, they're like sharks that smell blood in the water.
Yep. It's good.
All right.
Speaking of being in the water, do you remember that one time at Lake Week when you fell in the water?
So it's been a great evening, everybody. Thank you for
They have
joining
4
us.
minutes.
Yeah, the people paid good money for this.
Yeah.
No, they said this is free.
I'm just curious. You know, sometimes the last minute questions are the
Yeah,
best.
some of the best. Bring it out, folks. You got Trace
Got
Minutos.
3 minutes here before we start telling stories.
Yep.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm just getting ready for the next
He's running.
events.
Great job. How long will the Inner Room podcast continue?
That is a good question.
That is a good question.
We
What
don't
do you
know.
want? What do you guys want to do? Because we're going to be going our separate ways.
Yeah.
Is it something that we can continue despite our separate ways, or
We could.
Yeah.
We can try it out. We'll
The
see.
jury's still out. We got to figure out the technology situation.
Yeah, it might. The audio quality might drastically decline because if we have to like phone in, we'll see. Derek says, please continue the Inner Room and live Q&A forever.
Forever.
The live Q&A obviously will probably end when we depart ways. The week of the.
actually,
I could bring Father Drew over here.
well, not only that, but I did a couple Zoom broadcasts with Exodus 90, and it was Nathaniel, James, and myself on the screen in our separate copple boxes, and then people could send in their questions just like this.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll think about it.
See what happens.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us, folks. We got 2 minutes still.
No, we don't.
Yep, sure do.
Yeah, sure do.
Minute 20 seconds.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You know, I don't know if Jake is entertaining, is as entertaining live. You know, I don't know. I've never seen his on-air personality.
Jake, actually, I don't know if you listen to Redeemer Radio. He was the spearhead for the Seminary and Slice, the interviews with the seminarians that were on Redeemer Radio. So he does.
Seminarian Slice?
Yeah.
What is this?
Talk with seminarian over a slice of pie.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
In, I don't know, January.
I think what we should do is when we can have bigger social gatherings, we should do the Wednesday night live Q&A at least once. Live outside with a studio audience on the corner of Sherwood and Arlington and a bonfire and
meatloaf.
Meatloaf!
food and beverages.
Meatloaf!
Oh man. All right. Well,
Well, thank you all.
according to
miss
my
you.
watch, we have 10 seconds left.
We'll see you at Mass tomorrow. And do we have Kingdom Builders Friday?
Yeah, so we'll have Friday night adoration again at 7 o'clock live stream.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.
We love you.
Bye.
2 weeks.